We are part of other independent selves, each one focused in its own reality. Yet we can draw knowledge that belongs to these other independent selves, because the knowledge is everybody's else. It's a common knowledge to everybody. We can learn to focus our attention away from physical reality, to learn new methods of perception that will enable us to enlarge our concept of reality and expand our own experience. It's only because we believe that physical existence is the only valid one that it doesn't occur to us to look for other realities. Things as telepathy and clairvoyance can give us hints of other kinds of perception. We are also involved in quite definite experiences, both while waking and asleep. The so-called stream of consciousness is simply a stream of thoughts, images, impressions that is part of a deeper river of consciousness. We spend all our time examining this one small stream so that we become hypnotized by its flow and entranced by its motion. Simultaneously, these other streams of perception and consciousness goes by without our notice, yet they are very much a part of us and represent valid aspects, events, actions, emotions, with which we are also involved in other layers of reality. These other streams of consciousness are connected with other self-forms that we do not perceive. The body, in other words, is simply one manifestation of what we are in one reality. But in these other realities we have other forms. We can be anything. We can learn to see through our reality and those alongside ones. All we need to do is just unfocus our constant gaze in the physical. We tune into other streams of consciousness without realizing so all the time, because we are part of the same river of our identity. All are therefore interconnected. Everybody are one. It all depends on the focus. Creativity is multidimensional. Its origin is not from one reality, but from many realities, and it's tinged with the multiplicity of that origin. Creativity appears as intrusion from other source. It takes the breath away. It automatically reminds each man of its own multidimensional reality. Suddenly people become much more energetic, happy. The words "know thyself" mean far more than most people even suppose. Sometimes we are aware of other streams of consciousness, by hearing, for example, words or seeing images that appear out of context with our own thoughts. In the dream state, we are much more aware of other existences, of so-called us. Although at the end there's a dreaming masking process that masks the psychological and psychic experience, and this is the only version that we remember. In this final version, the basic experience is converted as nearly as possible into physical terms, so the brain can grasp it. It is therefore distorted. If I do not want to remember a particular dream, I myself censor the memory almost consciously. We see everything in the dream as physical because we refuse to accept it as non-physical. All dreams are not of this nature. Some dreams are translation of our daily life, but those, the deep ones, are connection with the real self, with godliness, with the divine. In this state we learn, study, play, anything but asleep. We are not unconscious. In many ways, when we are awake, we rest far more than in sleep. In sleep, we communicate with people in other levels of reality, but far beyond this, we creatively maintain and revitalize our physical image. We process daily experience, project it into what we think of as future. Choose from infinity of probable events those we will make physical, and begin the mental and psychic processes that will bring eventually these events into the world of physical. At the same time, we make this information available to all other portions of our identity, who dwell in entirely different realities, and we perceive from them comparable information. Because every event is not only happening to us, we need cooperation of other portions of self. The sleeping self is far more knowledgeable than the waking self of which we're so proud. The seeming division is simply caused by our own present stage of development. Some people, a little part of self, that are a part of the same entity or overall identity, and so there are psychic currents that unite us. I think Seth meant in this sentence that every so many people have the same aim in life, the same target to perceive, and they come from the same so-called entity. Within the field of energy, the little groups of people or beings that do the same thing, for example, on a simple level, healers, teachers, creators. Everyone has its own characteristic, so they belong to a particular group. And so in the dream we can talk to the same group of people and share ideas or get advices or improve ourselves. All of these merge into ocean of consciousness from which everything springs. Start with any one consciousness, and theoretically you will find any others. Often, ego holds back, simply because we were taught that the purpose of ego is restrictive rather than expanding. The ego does want to understand and interpret physical reality and to relate to it because it is physical. It wants to help you survive within the physical existence, but by putting blinders upon it, we hamper its perception and native flexibility. Then it cannot relate to a reality that we will not allow it to perceive. So it all depends on us. If we want to expand the ego, it will happen.